This ethical dilemma has put Nancy B in somewhat of a tough spot, actually, a very tough spot. She has a tough decision to make. She has to be loyal to her company and to herself. Also, she's a single parent, so she has to be loyal to her kids. But there are other family, there are other things involved. There are people's livelihoods at stake here with this dilemma. The dilemma is she has heard from top management that the National Steel Corporation's Jonesville plant is going to close down. When this plant closes down, it will seriously affect all the people who work there. It's a smaller town. There are not a lot of job opportunities. The town has adapted to the Steel Corporation's plant. Everyone works there. They pay decent wages. People are making a living. People are buying houses. Nancy B's sister and her husband, her sister's name is Elizabeth, they have made a good living both working at the steel plant, and Nancy is now supposed to keep secret what she knows about the steel plant supposedly going to close down. So the reason they're having to close down is because the economy has gotten bad. It doesn't make good economical sense to keep it open, as well as $10 million in repairs that would have to be done to Jonesville's plant. So basically what's going to have to happen, they're going to close the plant down, everybody's going to have to move, get new jobs, try to sell their houses quickly. A lot of people are probably going to go in debt. It's going to be a very stressful time, and it's going to be a very difficult time for a lot of families. So now here's the decision Nancy has to make. Does Nancy want to tell her sister that the plant is going to be closing down so that her sister and her husband can take the necessary precautions? Her sister's a real estate agent. She's got people buying houses from her, people who work in the plant. So if that continues to happen, then these people are going to be even further devastated after they've just bought a house and then the plant closes down. On the other hand, if people do find out the plant is going to close, people are going to have less motivation to do their work the way it's supposed to be done. And it's going to affect the reputation of the National Steel Corporation. It's going to hurt them in the stock market. They just really can't afford any of that with the way the economy is anyway. Also, Nancy's company has treated her very well. It's not like this is a corrupt company who has been bad to Nancy. Nancy's husband died about 10 years ago. Nancy's now a single parent of 2, and when her husband died, the company treated her very well. She was promoted. She worked her way up into the public relations department to where she is now privileged to this information for top management and the board of directors. So now Nancy's decision is whether to tell this company's secret or not. In my opinion, I don't think that Nancy should tell the secret, and here's why. The company has told her that if she goes along with this and everything works out, she is one of the people who the company will help find employment in the future. And being a single parent for Nancy absolutely changes the entire outlook of this situation. Let's say she doesn't have any kids, it's just her, she doesn't have anyone to provide for. Maybe she tells her sister, and maybe she helps her, and then Nancy has to take the fall a little bit. Nancy can't afford to take the fall. You cannot afford to take the fall when you're a single parent of 2 children. And that is one of the main reasons that Nancy should keep the company's secret. And because here's the thing. If Nancy does tell Elizabeth, so now she has told, the company is going to find out, so then Nancy will end up losing her job, along with Elizabeth and her husband both losing their jobs. What good does it do anybody? What good does it do anybody for all 3 of them to lose their jobs? If they all 3 lose their jobs, none of them are going to be able to help each other recover. They're all going to be in a very difficult spot. If Nancy is able to keep her job and keep employment at another plant for the National Steel Corporation, then she can help Elizabeth and her husband get back on their feet. I'm not suggesting that Nancy turn her back on her sister, on her family. I'm suggesting that she help them after the fact, because they are going to need help, just as many people are going to need help. But she cannot jeopardize her own life and her kids' lives for the lives of others. Because if she does tell Elizabeth out of loyalty to her, then how can Elizabeth not say, listen, you've told me and I appreciate that. I have to tell my clients. These are people I care about. These are probably their friends. It's a small town, about 20,000. A lot of people probably know each other. How can Elizabeth, in good conscience, then go sell a house to someone who works at the steel plant? I mean, she wouldn't be able to, and she would have to tell these people that there's a reason that she won't sell them a house. She will not help them get a house. And so then the word is going to spread like wildfire through the town. Everyone is going to find out. The National Steel Corporation's reputation is going to take a big hit. They might not be able to fill this big order that they have coming out. It's a very complex situation. And if you look at this from the side of the company is really in a tough spot. And, you know, like I said, they were very good to Nancy after her husband died. So it's not like they're just a corrupt organization out to ruin people's lives. They've provided good jobs for people in this area for an entire generation now. But the way the economy has turned, it just does not make good economic sense for them to continue to keep this plant open. Not to mention, like I said earlier, the $10 million in repairs. I mean, National Steel Corporation is going to lose a fortune trying to stay in business in Jonesville. And while it's devastating that all these people are going to lose their jobs, business is business. This is America. Business runs on money. You have to make money. If you're losing money, you're not going to be successful. And top management, other people, the National Steel Corporation's entire business structure, entire infrastructure could be put in jeopardy by letting this secret out and having one of their plants just not perform down the stretch and get a big order filled. They take a huge hit. They might lose more business. And they can't keep the plant open because it just doesn't make good economical sense. They cannot make money keeping this Jonesville plant open. It's harsh, you know, people have to lose their jobs, but that's part of it. You know, that's part of America. That's part of capitalism. People lose their jobs. That happens. Now, as far as there's some questions about this case study, if Nancy were to get a call from a reporter, they had heard that there was this meeting. Nancy gets a call from a reporter wondering what happened at this meeting between top management and the board of directors for the National Steel Corporation. Should she lie or should she confirm the rumor? Look, you can't confirm the rumor to the press. That sends us down the same path that we're trying to avoid. Nancy wants to avoid everyone finding out about this so that the National Steel Corporation can stay in prestige and she can help her sister and her husband afterward. Look, a lot of people are going to get just downright screwed by this deal, but that's what happens when a major plant closes. You know, people have to make adjustments in their lives. Maybe they can't live the same lifestyle they were living for a while until they find new employment. They might have to move north to the capital, which is about 80 miles north of Jonesville. A lot of things are going to have to change, but if she were to confirm a rumor to the press, then we'd be right back in the same scenario as if she had told Elizabeth, and you can't allow that to happen. Look, the fact that the company is going to help Nancy find another job and help with the relocation costs and stuff, that's big. If telling Elizabeth did not affect Nancy's job, then I think that yes, Nancy should absolutely tell Elizabeth that the plant is going to close. But it is going to affect Nancy's job, and Nancy still needs to have a good job. She has 2 children to provide for. She can't just hang them out to dry to help other people. You can only help so many people. This is a lose-lose situation, no matter how it turns out. Somebody is going to get the short end of the stick. If you're Nancy, sometimes you just have to look out for number one, and that's what Nancy has to do right now. Now, Nancy did not actually promise to the steel company that she wouldn't tell, but you have to be loyal to a company who's been loyal to you. Yes, I understand family is very important. She will be able to help her family get back on their feet. She will be able to help people get back on their feet if she's still on her feet. If they're all down, who's going to help who? Who's going to help who if they all lose their jobs? Now, as far as lying to the media goes, look, you should never... Lying is not right, but lying is sometimes necessary. So maybe whenever the media comes to her, she'll just say, no comment, or I don't know. You'd have to ask someone else about that. Just tell them, you know what, I'm not privileged to that information. That's a lie, but you're not straight up telling them, okay, the plant's going to stay open and continue to run flawlessly for years to come. You don't tell them that because you don't want to raise people's hopes up like that, but you don't You don't tell them that the plant is closing because there's still work to do at the plant. There's still a big order to be filled. Now, if I was in Nancy B's position, it would be tough. It would be tough to not tell my sister to help her out. And, after the fact, she would probably be really upset. And Elizabeth will probably be really upset with Nancy. But Nancy is going to have to go through some hard times, as is Elizabeth. The relationship might get a little bit rocky, but in the end, coming together will help them after this. Nancy can help Elizabeth get back on her feet. Now, as far as the public relations side of this, the company, I think, has made the right decision to not let it get out because business has to go on. If business doesn't go on, you can't make money. At the end of the day, business is about making money. It's harsh, people lose their jobs. It's tough, but, this is America. The almighty dollar rules, and you have to make money, which is why the public relations decision to not leak the fact that the plant is going to close is, in my opinion, the right decision.